guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new here, a big welcome to you. I thought I would share my review with you on a couple of books I have read recently. I got a Kindle for my birthday earlier this year, which I have only really got into recently after having had surgery in October. And since then, while I have had a lot of time to recover, I got stuck into reading a whole lot of books. Books I would not normally read, but I really think having a Kindle has been a total game changer for me. I have never read so many books in such a short span of time, and with a Kindle, I find that I just breeze through books easily, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So I've read about 14 books from October up until now, and I'd love to share with you my personal, honest reviews. Okay, enough about that. Let's start with my personal, honest reviews of the books I have read. And if there are any must-read books that you would like to suggest, please leave it in the comments below. So let's get started. In no particular order, let's start the recommendations and my honest review. The first book is called The Best Friend by Shalini Boland. I hope I'm saying her name correctly. Amazon describes it as an utterly gripping psychological thriller with a breathtaking twist. This book had great reviews on Amazon. I found that it was an easy read. It kept my interest as I wanted to know how things would turn out. But then it got predictable. I enjoyed the first half of this book, completely gripped by the storyline, but it became ridiculously predictable towards the end, especially towards the end of the book. The writing was a bit cheesy, cliche, and something out of a bad Lifetime movie. I wouldn't recommend this book, but Amazon does, and my honest opinion, I'd give this book 4 out of 10, and half of those points go for effort. You Deserve Each Other by Sarah Hogle. I'm going to preface this by saying that I don't normally read romance novels. I was never particularly a fan of them until reading this book. This was some of the best banter and thoughts from 2 characters. Naomi's thoughts are genuinely hilarious and really set the tone for this romantic comedy. The characters were so layered, and the concept of this and their arcs developed beyond their witty banter and funny hijinks to eventually reveal a real sweet story about a couple who discovering each other for the second time. I would describe the main character, Naomi, a snarky heroine. This is wickedly funny banter. A cast of quirky characters make this a laugh out loud read. This was a refreshing and unputdownable debut. This book has romance and a lot of humor, an all-round good book. I thoroughly enjoyed this book, and I look forward to see what this author comes up with next. I recommend this book and give it a 7 out of 10. The Other Mrs. by Mary Kubica. A woman is drawn into a mysterious web of secrets in this twisty whodunit from New York Times bestseller author Mary Kubica. I'm sorry if I'm butchering their names. I'm trying my hardest. But yeah, let's just go with that. This book was on Amazon's best mystery thriller and suspense section. Editor's choice, and Netflix is making this into a movie. This book has left me with mixed reviews, to be honest. This book is a page turner, it held my interest, and there's a lot going on in this book in addition to a murder mystery. I figured out the main plot points early on, but the author peppered the story with enough curveballs to make me second guess myself repeatedly. Eventually my suspicions were proven right, but the connection to the murder and the killer's motives came as a complete surprise. If you enjoy psychological thrillers that blur lines with domestic thrillers and murder mysteries, The Other Mrs. is well worth the read. I would give this book a 7 out of 10. It lost a point due to the fact that I figured out what was going on sooner than when it was revealed, which was a little disappointing. But other than that, I enjoyed this read. Big Little Lies by Liane Moriarty. From the author of 9 Perfect Strangers, Truly Madly Guilty, and The Husband's Secret comes a #1 New York Times best-selling novel about the dangerous little lies we tell ourselves just to survive. This book has great reviews on Amazon, and HBO has made a TV series on this book. I found it difficult to really get into the book. I pushed through, waiting for the penny to drop. Beginning with a death, Big Little Lies uses the technique of spinning us initially back in time to work through all the events leading up to the big reveal of who done it and who's actually dead. This is the story of a group of wealthy Australian families who all have children at the same primary school, using a series of linked events and points of view that ultimately lead to a tragedy at the school's trivia night. At times, this zips along like a soapy pastiche of life in suburbia, bullying in school, petitions about dumb things, head lice, etc., complete with a cast of wacky, colourful, desperate housewives, while at other times it seems to be earnestly trying to make serious points about the ugly things that go on behind closed doors, even among families that appear to be perfect on the surface. And therein lies the heart of the problem. Big Little Lies just can't figure out what it wants to be, and as a result, the fun parts aren't much fun and the serious parts end up with an unsettling, smug, after-school special feel to them. The moral and the heart of Big Little Lies is that bad things happen to bad people, and good people get magically saved at the end by a giant, clunky, ridiculous plot twist. No matter what bonkers things these characters do prior to this, I only really enjoyed the reveal towards the end of the book. So I would give this a 5 out of 10. The Perfect Girlfriend by Karen Hamilton. This is not your typical romance novel. This is a psychological thriller told through the eyes of the sociopath who ultimately feels it's her destiny to be together with her boyfriend. If you are looking for a traditional romance, this would not be a good choice for you. If you are looking for something edgy and different with a great look inside the airline crew world, then this is a great book for you. The fact that the boyfriend is with another and pledged to her is irrelevant. Well, at least nothing that a little murder cannot fix. The author actually worked in the airline industry, so the descriptions of the training, the flights, the layovers, and the cities the main character visits all ring true. I will not give away how this book ends because you need to read it, and telling you how things resolve or don't would candidly ruin this particular book. All in all, it's a gripping tale with a lot of great detail about the airline industry. I am actually surprised that a lot of people did not really enjoy this book. I thought it was brilliant. This was a twisty, thrill-filled page-turner. I highly recommend this book, especially if you enjoy a little bit of mystery, thriller, suspense types of books. And I would give this book a grand 9 out of 10. This was really good. Unspeakable Things by Jess, Lourey. Inspired by a terrifying true story from the author's hometown, a heart-pounding novel of suspense about a small Minnesota community where nothing is as quiet or as safe as it seems. Unspeakable Things tells the story of almost 13-year-old Cassie, a whip-smart girl who is struggling to hold on to the magic and wonder of childhood, while it's been stolen from the boys around her. Determined to find out what is happening to these boys, Cassie uses the skills she learns from the Charlie's Angels and Remington Steele in her very dangerous hunt. Lourey captures the imagination, humor, bravery, and crushing pain of being 13. Her character is a spot of hope in a narrative that is filled with mystery, dread, and adults who won't face the truth. It's an interesting insight into the author's thoughts and priorities as to details surrounding a fictional account of very real and disturbing events. The author did not bring the story to a proper conclusion. There were storylines in this book that left me with unanswered questions, which I found terribly disappointing, as the book came to an abrupt end, and for this reason it loses marks in my view. I give this book a 6 out of 10, not to mention some of the content discussed in this book is rather disturbing. The story of Shannon Rose, Lessons Between the Lines by Shannon Rose. This is a biography of Shannon's life. My review on this book could be a little biased, as I know Shannon Rose. I am one of her viewers, and she has always been incredibly sweet and kind to me. I love how honest she was in this book, and she has been through so much in her life, and has overcome so much, and I am truly happy for where she is now. She just has a warm, genuine personality that is very down to earth and relatable. Her book is such a true, in-depth glimpse into her childhood. I was so completely shocked to read in detail the absolutely heartbreaking and traumatic, and to be honest, lifetime movie-worthy childhood she had. At times I felt I was reading some sort of child thriller, especially with the evil stepmother stories, which really creeped me out in a I can't believe the girl I watch on YouTube could have gone through this kind of way. If you like biographies, you'll fall in love with her story. For Sweet Channon, I give this book an 8 out of 10, and I look forward to reading her next book. She has a second book out following this book. I haven't read that yet, but I plan to in the future. Well done, Channon, for sharing your story. The Couple Next Door by Shari Lopena. This book was an editor's pick on Amazon under Best Mystery Thrillers, and I was surprised to see such poor reviews for this outstanding book. I thoroughly enjoyed this page-turning, twisted thriller. I loved this book. It kept me intrigued and guessing the whole way through, which I really appreciate in a good suspense-filled mystery book. Twists until the very end. Excellent. I recommend this book and give this book an 8 out of 10, and I look forward to read more from this author. The Stranger Inside by Laura Benedict. Suspenseful and moving. The Stranger Inside gripped me from the very first page. Laura Benedict is at the top of her game. This is a good book with many twists that I didn't see coming. Complicated family relationships become deadly because of long-held secrets. Contemporary fiction at its best. This book continued to startle and put me on the edge of my seat. This was a page-turner, a suspenseful psychological drama, and I'll give this book a 7 out of 10. The Marriage by KL Slater. Described on Amazon as an absolutely jaw-dropping psychological thriller. Amazon describes it as an unput-downable psychological thriller that you'll read this year from the best-selling author KL Slater. If you love The Wife Between Us and Gone Girl, you'll totally be hooked on The Marriage. And here's my opinion. If you accept the premise that a woman could fall in love with and marry the killer of her son, then the rest of the story is highly engrossing and entertaining. You may not like the major characters in this tale, but KL Slater is such a talented writer of suspense novels that you can empathize with their emotions and situations as they deal with the consequences of this romance. This was a book I could not put down primarily because I wanted to discover the secrets each major character was hiding, and if I had guessed their hidden motives. The author drops significant clues regarding the true nature of the murder and its aftermath, but you will be surprised until the very last page. I enthusiastically recommend this book, and this book gets a 7 out of 10. The Couple at Number 9 by Claire Douglas. Amazon describes it as a tense, twisty, fraught with emotion and packed with secrets. The Couple at Number 9 is Claire's best thriller yet, and this is quoted by Gilly Macmillan, best-selling author of What She Knew. The internationally best-selling author of Do Not Disturb and Just Like the Other Girls delivers a heart-pounding psychological thriller about a couple who inherit what seems to be their dream home until they make a horrifying discovery and the danger begins. With a cleverly complicated and twisted plot, this book was a thriller combined with a murder mystery as well as a character study of some complex characters. The pace was very slow at first and did not pick up until about a third of the way. Once this whole scenario began, the pace of the book quickened and was a mesmerizing and engaging read. There were many questions asked and answered as the solution to the mystery progressed, making this book one of the most complex and delightfully puzzling whodunits that I have read in a long time. The slow burn tension ratchets tighter and tighter until you suddenly fly in towards a gasp-worthy end. I give this book a 6 out of 10. The Guilty Husband by Stephanie DeCarolis. As Amazon calls it, an utterly gripping psychological thriller with a jaw-dropping twist. As Amazon describes it as a totally unput-downable thriller, this book will have you gripped from the very first page until the jaw-dropping final twist. Fans of The Perfect Couple, My Perfect Wife, and The Undoing will love this novel. And my opinion on this book is, I was totally engrossed from the moment I first opened the book. Stephanie DeCarolis knows how to capture the reader's attention in The Guilty Husband. I love the short chapters that always seem to want you to keep reading more and more. She has a way of getting you emotionally attached to the characters right from the beginning. The story had more twists and turns than a roller coaster, and just as exciting. It's hard to believe this is the author's first novel. I am already a big fan and look forward to reading more by the author. I highly recommend this book. This book is a thriller. Every time I thought I knew the ending, I was wrong. The twists and turns of the plot are captivating. Similar to other readers, I felt myself saying just one more chapter, getting lost in the story and not being able to put it down. The characters are so relatable as well. The plot grabs you from the very first page and you are locked in throughout. The adjectives used to help describe the scenery and characters help paint a vivid visual. As a reader, you feel like you are in the story, and the characters are your friends. While reading, I was connected to them and felt a bundle of emotion as the story unfolded. I highly recommend The Guilty Husband to everyone I know. It is a must-read. It will absolutely make the New York Times bestsellers list for sure. This book was really good and it gets an 8 out of 10 from me. The Wedding by Ruth Heald. As Amazon calls it, a totally gripping psychological thriller packed with twists. Amazon further describes it as a completely gripping and totally addictive read that will get your blood pressure rising and send shivers down your spine. I loved reading The Wedding by Ruth Heald. This book was a truly entertaining read. There were so many twists and turns and reversals. I highly recommend the story for those readers who enjoy suspense and psychological drama. This was definitely a page-turner with an unexpected twist that will keep you guessing right until the end. And by then, you still wouldn't have figured it out, just when you think you have. All around, a great, twisted, suspenseful thriller. I give this book a 7 out of 10. The Nanny by Gilly Macmillan. I'm going to read what Amazon says. The Nanny kept me in white-knuckled suspense until the very last page. Gilly Macmillan's breakout thriller is a dark and twisted version of Downton Abbey gone very, very wrong. Furthermore, with my review, it's a devilishly devious Mary Poppins. The Nanny captivates and surprises with twists and turns around every corner. A page-turner with interesting backstories. This was not what I expected and I couldn't put it down. One last thing, if you are thinking of hiring a nanny, read this book first. I love the style of this book, written in short, brief chapters, jumping back and forth from the past to the present, and from perspective to perspective. It quietly left you questioning what you really knew. Before The Nanny, I had never read anything by Gilly Macmillan, but it will definitely not be the last. It's about the deadly misperceptions we mistake for reality. All of the characters are so compelling, even the unlikable ones. Gilly Macmillan has written a sordid, suspenseful thriller with so many twists and turns you don't see coming. This is one book you won't be able to put down once you start reading it. I thoroughly enjoyed this book and highly recommend it. I give this a 9 out of 10 stars. And that's my review, guys. If you enjoyed this video and if you'd like to see more reviews, let me know and I'll do some more reviews in the future. Thank you so much for watching my book review and my recommendations on books I've read, and I would love to hear your suggestions on any great books you have read. And if you enjoyed this video, please share it, give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe to my channel. I do a variety of videos here and would love for you to join. Follow me on social media, leave a comment below on books you have read, loved, or want to suggest, or just simply say hi. I'd love to hear from my viewers. I hope you have a fabulous day further, and I'll see you soon. Bye, guys.